Good morning. How are you doing? First off, I want to say I do like the Olympics. I just like the Para Olympics and the Special Olympics and the Veterans Olympics and the Warrior Games a lot more than what we saw in Paris. I saw a lot of hubris in Paris, which was um, really odd. And it wasn't from the athletes. It was like the conversation wasn't like, hey, you've made it this far. Congratulations. And then I don't know. Did you guys hear or see what happened to some of the medals? Like, if they were silver or bronze, they started to look tarnished. Like the patina started almost immediately after wearing it, especially if you were sweating. I don't know, but that is different. So I do like the Olympics. It's just that I think that's its own MLM scheme in a way. I definitely remember um, just tasting it recently when a local Paralympian was trying to raise money so that he could go. I guess you had to go to the Olympics, or you had to pay to go to the Olympics to go to the Paralympics. I'm not sure. And so, I helped fundraise some money. I donated some money, but it it's like, they have to raise $10,000 or something like that. And then if they're not able to raise, they have to raise a certain amount of money to qualify for a scholarship. But if they don't have Snoop Dogg or Flavor Flav or Martha Stewart or some kind of other Patreon, or sponsor, which they would have in the Olympic Games a long time ago, I'm kind of miffed a little bit that, they have to have these enormous amounts of money to show their strength, to show how good they are. It just doesn't compute for me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Mm. Coffee. I'm having coffee. Yes, you can see the coffee. It's real. Oh, no, you can't see the coffee. Well, it is. It's a really good coffee. Um, so there's it's coffee in the morning, and of course lawnmowers. It's a beautiful Saturday morning. So I hope that you are doing well. Hope you had a good week. I think I have to address a few things, but um, this is going to be a long one. I even have a little script. Um, I also have to, of all things, start writing down lists of stuff. And one of the plans for the last 4 months of the year is to enlist some atomic habits or do something. But basically, I have 3 journals, and I need to, on September, I think I'm going to do it on September 1st. Um, on September 1st, I'm going to start writing, and once a day, 5 minutes, writing. Um, it is kind of hard to like. There's a couple habits that I've adopted. I'm like, wow, that I can do this, I can do that, I can handle this stuff. Um, it's not easy or hard or difficult or any of that. It's just the way things are. I hope that you also have your water. got my glass water. I think I went over this. Um, why I use glass over plastic and steel. One, I am super sensitive to metal. I have no clue. I don't even begin to go into that realm of trying to figure out why suddenly anything that comes in contact with metal, I cannot handle the taste of it. It feels like it's going to retch. I mean, I just somebody gave me this really great plastic tumbler, and I thought, oh great, I'll have my coffee in it and so forth. And weirdly, um, I I was like, what is that taste? And where ceramic and glass, I don't have the taste. So I don't know. Maybe it's a film. Maybe it's a covering. Maybe it's the fact today is a day that ends with Y. I don't know what it is, but all of a sudden, any kind of metal, even I had a metal spoon to stir my coffee, and I thought, oh, and I was like, I couldn't handle the taste of metal. So I don't know what's going on. And with that, I have these reusable forks, and I think I showed those in a previous video. So I don't know what is happening or not happening with my taste buds. I know that getting back in the water was really difficult. I think I was swimming through jello. My arms felt absolutely like just lifting it, just like, oh God, I have to lift it, kind of thing. I could not. It was literally the hardest thing for me to do. Um, and I got back in. I think I did probably, let's see, I did 20 laps. Um, I did a half mile. I did 35 laps. And I just couldn't. I stretched. I did everything I'm supposed to do before I get into the water. Got in the water, and you might as well told me you are swimming in jello today. Had my kickboard. I got 500 yards in kicking. Felt really good about that. But anytime I was like, okay, do 4 25s in 30 seconds. On 30 seconds with a 10-second wait. I you I don't know what it was. It was like I couldn't float suddenly. I couldn't. I mean, it's just 25 yards. It's not that hard. I might as well have been pulling an elephant in the water or something. I don't know what it was. And I was winded, and I was like, okay, do the breaststroke. Breaststroke is really easy. You can, or at least for me it is. Not you. But I was doing the breaststroke, and I literally felt like I was pushing through quicksand. And I'm like, what? Why can't? And I mean, the water was perfect temperature for the water. Um, it, I couldn't do it. I was like, what the heck? And trust me, that was very disappointing. Um, I hope to have another slot tomorrow, and hopefully I'll have a better result. I have gotten back on the bike, and this is the odd thing, is that I was feeling really good going back on into the water because I was doing hand weights, I was doing biking, I had walked really a lot. I felt, really good. The minute I got in that pool, you might as well have told me, you are now 1,000 pounds and you cannot move. I don't know what it was, and it was really frustrating because 30 I think I figured it out. Like 70 laps is a mile. And so I was really trying to get that. And it usually takes me, I'm going to say about 25 minutes to get started. And I mean, 20, that's 20, 23, 24 laps. And then I'm like ready to do the next 40, I think it was, or I had 30 on there. Just I wanted to get to 50. I really wanted to get to 50. And when I was done with the 35th lap, I looked back and the clock was like I had lost 45 minutes. And I was like, "What? Okay, do the stretch." Like, and that's side stretching. Um because I'm like, you've got to finish this. You've got to finish it. And there was nothing to get me through. I was like wondering, I was like 5 yards after like a minute or something like that. And I was like, okay, this is, it's time to get out of the water. Something's not working. And so I think I ended up, like I said, doing a half mile. And it was difficult and it was humbling. And I kind of was like going, wow, I spent a lot of money not to exercise the way I wanted to, at least. I didn't do the mile that I needed to do. And I, was sitting in the shower going like, what happened? So I will get back in the water. I'm just going to have to, you know, play it by ear, I think. I think the fact that I couldn't um finish, you know, finish an hour in the pool just kind of, and there wasn't like a lot of people in the pool. It's a pretty professional pool, and just really bad. So hopefully in the last 20 days, 120 days, I'll finish up some of the I'll I'm hoping to get at least 10 miles done in a period of time. And it should be 30 days, but sorry. Maybe I should clean this. Do dishes. So I'm hoping in the next 120 days, I'll get 10 miles in. And it may take 120 days for all I know. I don't know. But that was a humbling experience. So, speaking of humbling experiences, my sibling told me one of my siblings tells me all the healthy stuff, and she introduced me to lysine, L-lysine. Totally helps the cystic acne. Why that is not widely known is just so sad. Um, but one of the other things that she told me was the collagen peptides. And I will be honest. Um, uh, I learned that one, I can't put it in cold water. I have to put it in hot water. It has to dissolve. Because I was trying to put it in spaghetti sauce and put it in a meal because I wasn't putting it in my coffee. And it wasn't a chalky flavor. It's just that, like, somewhere like between swallowing and my stomach, I don't know what I like. It was like stuck back here, and I drank a ton of water. I did a ton of things, but like my sibling also introduced me to nutritional yeast, and I thought, okay, just add it. It's a cheese substitute. Add it again to pasta. I might as well have just like put Epicat syrup in my food. It was really bad. And so then I thought, oh, I'll put it in Jello. Jello's a really easy one. Or pudding. No, it has to be dissolved and it has to be hot water. And so I I'm going to put it in my coffee again. But I was like, and so I thought, like, what is wrong with me that I'm choking on vitamins? Part of the reason I am taking over the counter vitamins, and there's a lot of controversy about it, and I understand we're supposed to get our vitamins from food. I understand that we're supposed to, that we're overpaying for a tiny bit of, vitamins and so forth. But the fact of the matter is that when you don't have millions of dollars and you don't have your own garden in Maui, or you don't have your own personal chef, sometimes you're eating ultra processed food and you have to take these over the counter vitamins just to keep a balance, because there's no answer to it. And so one of the other things that I'm doing is fish oil. And there was actually, I did not start eating fish oil until about 10, or I think it is. I think it's about 10 years ago. And it was this great Gold Seal omega-3 super refined fish oil, and it just made my joints feel better. This part of the reason I'm doing this is that it's supposed to help with your heart, and I'm nearing the age that my own father had his, I think his first episode, or maybe my uncle. Was it my uncle or my father? One of them. And so I know that there's heart health in this. This is why you take this, but also you're supposed to mellow out with omega-3s and fish oil. I don't know. They actually say to be really careful taking fish oils because you can get your fish oils elsewhere, and I think there's magnesium in this. No, this is all fish oil. But you can have an opposite effect by having too much fish oil. You're supposed to like mellow out, calm down with fish oil. And to a point, I am calmer, but the other flip side of that, I guess, if you're taking too much fish oil, you're going to have a manic attack. How does how does how do these vitamins how are they affecting you? I kind of wonder if this is not if it's not why I can't take collagen peptides. It's like you might have a manic attack. Um, so that is what I'm taking. And again, I'm drinking water, I'm doing everything. The weight is just taking its time to get off. I mean, whether I'm, on the bike for 25 minutes or whether I'm walking a mile in a day. And in fact, um, just to double check, because I thought I did pretty good the other day. Uh, yeah, this week, I mean, granted, I've done pretty good. Whoa, I actually have done really good. Hmm. But I haven't been doing great, to say the least. The month, I'm really way down. I'm around 75,000 steps. And usually at this point, um, it's really interesting. In July, I had 177. Like, what was I here? I think I had 177 steps. And so I'm not even halfway to what I was a month ago. Um, and June, I am down 70% walking. That's pretty amazing. In June, I had done 100 miles walking easily. I think I was done at least possibly the 20th, and just, didn't happen. Sorry. Um, I think I have to also talk about buying me a cup of coffee. Um, there's other channels on the community section that take Patreon that um, have merch. Go and support them. I am not here for sponsorships. You can buy me a cup of coffee. I feel comfortable asking you to buy me a cup of coffee. If you read my blog, I need a cup of coffee. I have paid a lot for a cup of coffee. Um, it's it's been a lot. Um, there are people that are on YouTube that are educational, really, really, really smart. I have learned a ton from different uh, content creators. I've learned a ton. I'm just not interested in that. I'm sorry. I wish I was. But it's interesting. I think how people how content creators, they've been on YouTube since, they were 14, or they've been doing these things, and then they've made a business out of doing certain things. And now it's getting harder for them to do it. Um, and they don't want to share their life doing stuff. Um, the sad but true result of all that is the fact that, you know, you have to work sometimes, and it is hard. And some of these content creators are doing amazing things, but then it becomes a job. And it's not like, me sitting out here on a Saturday morning going, hey, how you doing? What's up? I don't have that planned. There's nothing really to talk about except me living in San Francisco, and you'll see. You should have watched Wednesday's um, post about, hey, public transportation. It's a good thing. But I also live here. It's not flooding. There's mild weather. Um, right now I'm watching ducks. There's ducks in the backyard. I'm kind of upset that I am going to have to move, and that is going to be a problem for me because, one, it's quiet here. Two, I feel safe. Three, the expense of moving. It is really, really difficult. So, buy me a cup of coffee. Thanks. I appreciate it. But I don't know if I'm going to have merch, and I doubt I'm going to have a Patreon. So there's that. Um, there is a bit of a plan, but it's not so much that we're going into a recession or things have just changed beyond, the means. Um, One of the reasons I changed the title is because I'm looking for a job and I didn't get the job that I wanted, and I talked about that in Wednesday's vlog. Um, just I'm just not. I think getting a car is not a good option for me. Um, I see when I'm, you know, uh, doing public transit, I see people drive horribly. I mean, really, honestly, I'm in a 6-ton bus. You're in a 2,000-pound vehicle, and you cannot stay in your lane. And you're like shocked that there's a bus next to you. It's honestly, I understand why people don't like public transit, but at the same time, um, it is way better than any other options. And it's also why I don't live certain places. Um, I even when I one of the things I said, even when I was in Texas earlier this year, I kind of got lost, and this is how I ended up knowing where Beltline Road was, is that there was a bus line along it, and I was following a bus line. Also, I hate traffic. Let me pause for a hot minute here. Okay. Had to do some laundry and pay attention to some other things and do some other things. And talk about some other things, but very importantly, I got some bread for the birds. Um, One of the things I'm doing is I'm trying to not use as much materials. It is really difficult to do sometimes when you're deciding not to own a car. Sorry, I just saw something that out of the corner of my eye I didn't expect to see, but I don't know what I'm looking at. Huh, okay. So at the dollar store, is laundry detergent sheets. And for the record, they do work. I use them mostly on my towels. Um, I use them on my, I use them for the stuff that, I don't need to worry about. And then it is, it is difficult, period. Um, when you're trying to do stuff and you're just hitting walls. It's kind of like when I went swimming and I couldn't get that done. That being said, one of the other things I'm doing is I'm sewing, and this was really kind of a bummer. It's like it just came undone, so I have to go back and redo it. And part of that's just because I try to take roughly, I try to spend at least 1 hour a week without the internet on, without a camera, without digital devices. Sometimes I can do that reading. Sometimes I can do that while I'm coloring. Um, it's not an easy thing to do. Um, to take the time to sew, it you really have to commit yourself to it. But also, I've been practicing it for a while, and while infrequent, at least once a week, try to spend as much time as possible without the internet on, without a digital device. And that doesn't include sleeping. I mean, 9 times out of 10, we're usually sleeping with our digital devices because we have to monitor our sleep, right? which seems insane. Um, Also, your data should be protected. Um, how you go about doing that means a lot. Um, I think that's part of the reason that there was this kind of backlash against AI investment because people don't want their data to be used inappropriately. And speaking of AI investment, I actually do have um, an investment. I had an investment with 401k that I got from a previous employer. I got it in 2019, and I was really excited about it. I was like, hey, this is a great thing. They're gonna match all this good stuff, max out the thing. The thing is that, and I won't say, well, I could say, but I won't. But the organization or the plan manager had an artificial intelligence monitoring. And it was really strange because towards the about a year in to it, I started to notice that the automatic or the artificial intelligence wasn't quite doing their job. And I'm not talking about like a lot of money, but in 1 year, I put, oh gosh, and I wasn't making very much. I wasn't putting a lot in. I was putting probably not enough in. But in 1 year, I put, oh, $500. And, that's pretty good. But the value of the portfolio was like $300. And I was like, that's really odd. I can understand. Squirrels are fighting. Gotta be careful on those squirrels. They are talking too. Um, and there is one. I mean, squirrels are interesting. They are very interesting to say the least. You ever watch them? But it was like $400 or something. It wasn't like the same value, and I was like, gosh, that's really odd. And sure there was a $2 fee, and it was taken out every month just to manage it. Blah 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 blah. So I didn't think too much more of it. Then it was 2022. Yeah, I guess it was. Um, I looked at my portfolio. I mean, I had it, I just put $25 in it every time. I mean, every paycheck, put $25 in it. It was the minimum I could put in there. Sometimes I would put more, sometimes I would put less. But I would put money in it. And it wasn't a lot. Again, $25 in 1 year over 12 months, I think comes out to maybe $300. I don't know. I honestly, I don't know. I'm sorry. I think it's like $300 or something like that. 25 times 12. Yeah, it's $300. So, you know, I didn't have a ton of money in there. Well, apparently, I didn't have enough money invested in there to get a better rate of return because I just didn't have enough money. I don't know what the threshold was. I don't know if it was $1,500 or what. And I thought that was really interesting. I'm like, oh my gosh, wow, I'm not getting great service, but you're giving me this AI, and this AI, which is supposed to maximize my investments is not showing my investments very well. It's kind of hung up on stuff that I've already done or already checked on. And I kind of was like, what's going on? And when I called, every time I called, in fact, the last year that I called, every time I called, nobody could find my account because it wasn't their primary package. It was a subset package because it wasn't, their active traders or whatever. And I thought, that's really odd. So then I started to really pay attention. And so one time I think I threw in $100, and I think at this point I had close to 15, maybe $2,000. I don't know. And I was kind of shocked. It took 4 days. It took 7 business days for the transfer to be complete. $100 became like $89 invested. And I watched it for a month or 2 months. And then on the third month, I kind of was convinced. The AI bot, it would be doing these like insane trades and I wasn't acting on them. This was their whole system. This was like what was supposed to maximize the dollars. And I think the value, and I was watching the stock market. The stock market was up. Sorry, just checking to see. And I was like going like, what the heck's going on? So I called them and I'm like, hey, it looks like it's hung up on this $2 service fee from 3 months ago. It's still showing that. It looks like it's still not finishing the trade that the money's been taken out. It's been a month since the money's been taken out. Why is it not showing a trading value of such? And they couldn't answer the question. And I thought, well, this is interesting. So I went ahead and I started the process of opening up another account through my bank that I technically could manage. It's, self-invested, whatever. And I mean, I'm not, I'm just putting cash in it. I'm not doing anything fancy. What do I know about trading? Strangely enough, I know a lot. So I roll over the $1,500, or no. In fact, that was one thing that really made me mad. I think I'd put like $2,000 in it, and it's like the value was only like $1,500. And I mean, this is 2022, when the market's at a huge, gangbusters kind of thing. I'm like, what's going on, And so I go ahead and I roll over the funds, and almost immediate after closing that account, I start to see some shady stuff going on. By the way, it took forever for that account to be closed. And in fact, I think I eventually had to go to Consumer Financial Protection Agency to get the account closed because they were still showing that I had to have dividends paid. Yeah. And by the way, I wasn't invested in multiple stocks. I was invested in one simple program that was supposed to maximize my funds that I was putting in there. So like, putting $2,000 in, I should have like had a maximum fund balance of like $5,000, like what they were showing, but it wasn't happening that way. the AI, the artificial intelligence trading or automatic settings were not working. And it took them a very long time to answer questions. And like I said, by the way, it's a local firm, but so almost immediately upon putting the funds into the self-directed IRA, I think I had like $3,000 like within, and again, I'm only putting $25 in. I'm not doing anything fancy, but I had like $3,000 within 6 months. And I had a annual return or an annual, dividend payment of, I want to say $200 to $300. And I was like really surprised. I was like, whoa, what the heck happened? But then lo and behold, the other account, I I get this notice that, oh, by the way, your statement's ready. And I'm like, I closed that account. What are you talking about? And they're like, no, 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 no. You still have a dividend payment. And I'm like, well, I don't have any money with you. I don't want any money with you. I don't need any money with you. They're like, no, you have 15 cents. I'm like, really? 15 cents. It was ball and chain hard to get that 15 cents taken out of the account and transferred over. But I was like still kind of going like, why is it taking so long for them to figure out I don't want to have anything to do with them? And I finally had to I went to Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, CFPB, and I'll put a link to it in the description. But it took at least 3 or 4 submissions to them about this agency, about this, 401k service, that one, they couldn't help me. Anytime I called, they had to, it took like 5 minutes to find my account. 2, they couldn't answer the question of like, hey, what's on, why is this still showing $2 hasn't been paid? And yet you took the money out. Like, what is going on here? And what was the third thing? Oh, there was this like trade of, I don't know, 100. It was like $150 total. It was like this weird amount was being traded at an insane thing, and I was like, this is, I didn't authorize this. And honestly, folks, when they say look at your accounts and look at where you're investing every day, that's a good rule of thumb. Definitely do that, because knowing that now, I mean, I have on my own trading, on, investing in my own stuff, I'm on par with the stock market. I'm earning I'm earning sorry, there's just squirrels in the background. They're just going crazy for the bird seed. Or bread, I should say. But there's, I was surprised that I was doing better than artificial intelligence. And it wasn't anything, I mean, I'm not like hundreds of thousands of dollars or anything like that. I'm just like, $25 a month, and then I, look at like what I'm going to, it's like, oh, what can I get? What's the cash on hand, and how much cash do I have on hand, and, what's that value, and so forth. So that is it. I think this has been a pretty long vlog. I've been sewing. I've told you about all sorts of stuff and like what the last 20 days, 120 days will be like. I still have laundry to do. And I think that is going to be it. Have fun. Bye.